Hello everybody and welcome back to Manga of the Week, the show that I don't need to explain anymore because I'm pretty sure it's self-explanatory. This week is probably going to be a kind of mini episode because I had an extremely busy week and weekend and I just didn't get to do as much pre-work and prep as I usually do. And so for that, I apologize, but I'm still going to try to make this something of substance. However, I will say that I do have a pretty funny video in the works. At least it's funny as hell to me, but we'll see how it turns out, and hopefully that should be released in like 1 or 2 weeks. So should have that out for y'all, like when I said 1 or 2 weeks. So without further ado, we're gonna just go ahead and jump right into it. This week's Manga of the Week goes to My New Wife is Forcing Herself to Smile by Matsumoto Kingo. Classic disclaimer, I'm sorry if I butchered your name. For some of you watching, if you're a decently avid manga reader, you will probably notice that this distinct art style might seem a little bit familiar, and that is because this author has a more popular manga that just recently ended called... I'm gonna take a deep breath of this one. A story about treating a female knight that has never been treated as a woman. You got the whole premise right there. While both of the titles of these manga may seem strange and long-winded, I assure you that they are super good, and probably that second one I mentioned with the really long title I'm going to do somewhere down the line for Manga of the Week after I reread it. But I don't plan on rereading it anytime soon, so no promises. Anyways, My New Wife is Forcing Herself to Smile might sound like it wears its premise on its sleeve, and it does somewhat, but obviously there's gotta be more here than meets the eye, right? The story is set in the late Heian, early Kamakura period, if I'm saying that right, during the during the time of the samurai. A rugged and handsome samurai is married off to a young girl named Chiyo, and ever since, this second son, who is full of self-doubt, has been wondering why she wears nothing but a forced smile around him. If my wife and I had just gotten married and all I saw on her was a forced smile everywhere I went, I'd get a little worried too, don't get me wrong. So, I'm not knocking this guy for doubting himself about that. I understand. Oh, I don't understand. My wife loves me, alright? Anyway. Does she? Anyway. About that. Behind this self-doubt of his and what he is observing lies the simple genius behind this manga, with that being that we the reader get to see inner thoughts from both of them, as well as stuff that Sojiro, the husband, doesn't get to see himself because, you know, he's only got whatever the heck we have degree of vision, like 179 degrees. So essentially, the rom-com of this rom-com comes from us getting to see that Chiyo, his beautiful wife, is very selfish and possessive and lustful, and is just putting on this forced smile in order to not seem like a wretched woman. At least that's what she thinks of those thoughts. I mean, we all are sitting there going, "You're married. It's fine. Love each other." But it's so freaking cute and funny that you just... Anyway, moving on. The manga is set up in what I like to call a snapshot style. There's not a real cohesive story arc or anything like that, or arcs, plural. There is the just slice, it's literally slice of life. You just see little bits and bobs from different interactions that they have at home or out and about in the town, or when family comes to visit, or stuff like that. All that was to say, the only thing that really weaves everything together is the character development and relationship development between Sojiro and Chio. So, this manga is a little bit different than most because it's not serialized in a magazine. I don't think, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that this is just released on the author's Pixiv account. And despite that, some people do still, or a publisher does still take the chapters off of Pixiv every now and again, compile them, and release them as a tankobon. But there is no magazine during that process. I don't think. I couldn't find anything in my research about it, if I'm being honest. The chapters are very short as well. They're about 4 to 6 pages each, which makes this a very, very digestible chunk of cuteness. I love it. I love it to death. I cannot get over it. Anyway, to bring that cuteness to life is Kingo's very distinctive art style, like I mentioned earlier. You really cannot look at this one or the Female Knight one that I mentioned without going, yeah, that's definitely the same mangaka. Like, it's very clear. Especially his expressions. The expressions on his characters are like unmistakable. They're so clear and so, I guess, full of life, for lack of a better way to put it. I really haven't seen anybody who has the same kind of design style or emotiveness that his characters do. There. That's what I wanted to say. So, in conclusion, just go ahead and lock into this little slice of adorableness that is this manga. And then, as you read through the chapters, you can join me in sorrow as you wait for more Pixiv chapters to be translated into English. They're so slow. But anyway, yeah, I just want somebody to join me in misery. That's the principle of this week's episode. So in that vein, I'm going to go ahead and say that we're about done, because I don't have a whole lot more to say about it. And like I said, this is going to be a death. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and say that we're about done with this week's episode, because I don't have much more to say about it. I definitely don't have anything negative to say about it. Obviously, I'm very prone to that. And like I said, sorry, it's a bit shorter than I would usually do, and it's not on as big or substantial, I suppose, of a manga that I normally do. Not to say that this isn't a good manga. This is an extremely good manga. This is a short form, classic slice of life romance thing that I just eat alive, and have never had anything to say negative about it, because I like romance manga a lot. Too much. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. As usual, please leave any comments you like, negative, positive, constructive, useless, anything you want to say to me. I appreciate it. I really enjoy reading comments, even though most of them are from people I already know, but it's still nice to see some engagement. And yeah, thank you all again so much for watching. Like I said, I already said that, so thank you all again so much for watching. I already said that. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see y'all next week. Excuse me. There we go.